Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us this week. This is from the CBN. I'm Dada. It's been a week since the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, addressed the media on the new policy measures in the country's remittance program designed to boost and facilitate an efficient flow of remittances sent home by Nigerians in the diaspora. In today's episode, we will bring to you an expert review of the policy and, as promised, the testimonies of other beneficiaries of the CBN Creative Industry Financing Initiative, otherwise known as SciFi. All of those and more on the program today. But first, let's bring you the news highlights from the CBN this week. The Central Bank of Nigeria has approved new license categorization for payment systems to promote a strong and credible payment system in the country. In a circular from the Director, Payment System Management Department, Mr. Musa Jimo, to all payment service providers, banks, and other financial institutions released on Thursday, payment system licensing has now been streamlined into 4 broad categories. They are switching and processing, mobile money operations, payment solution services, and regulatory sandbox. According to the document, the new licensing framework offers clarity for new and existing market participants, given the significant evolution in the Nigerian payment system. The CBN has flagged off the 2020 input distribution to rice farmers and loan recovery drive under the Refund CBN Anchor Borrowers program. The Apex Bank on its Twitter handle Thursday says beyond being a tool for economic empowerment, job creation, and wealth redistribution, the program has also galvanized financial inclusion in the rural communities. About 275,000 farmers were empowered to cultivate 220 hectares across all the states and the FCT in 2018 wet season. 500,000 hectareage was the target in 2019, and the program hopes to achieve 1 million in the 2020 dry season. The 13th CBN Governors Golf Cup held last weekend at the IBB International Golf and Country Club, Abuja. The competition was a maiden tournament at the venue since COVID-19 lockdown on non-combatant sports was lifted. It featured 168 golfers under strict COVID-19 protocol. The CBN Governor, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, declared that the bank's consistency in promoting golf and sports in the country has had a remarkable impact on youths and sportsmen in general. Emefiele was represented by the CBN Deputy Governor of Corporate Services, Mr. Edward Adamu, at the prize-giving ceremony. And that's the news. Thanks for staying tuned. This is from the CBN. In 1996, following the promulgation of a law which exempted remittances from taxes, the first remittance program by an international money transfer operator, IMTO, was launched in Nigeria. This private arrangement had limited involvement by the central bank. It was between the Western Union and First Bank of Nigeria, which was then the only agent, while the First Bank in turn had other banks as sub-agents. Governor of the Apex Bank, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, offered more background to the remittance policy.
In 2016, the Central Bank of Nigeria, in an effort to increase remittance flows and improve the number of formal channels under which Nigerians in the diaspora could remit funds, launched a licensing regime to guide the conduct and operations of IMTOs. As a result of this new policy measure, 65 international money transfer operators were licensed by the CBN for inbound remittances. We analyzed data on the IMTO's inflows into the country over the past year, and through our investigations discovered that some IMTOs, rather than compete on improving transaction volumes and create more efficient ways for Nigerians in the diaspora to remit funds home, resorted to engaging in arbitrage arrangements on the Naira-dollar exchange rate which to a large extent resulted in a significant drop in flows into the country because they felt like diverting flows that were meant for Nigeria to outside the country for selfish personal reasons. It also encouraged the use of unsafe, unofficial channels, which also supported diversion of remittance flows meant for Nigeria, thereby undermining our foreign exchange management framework.
On November 30, the CBN announced an amendment to the remittance policy meant to boost inflows and foster an environment that would enable faster, cheaper, and more convenient flow of remittances back home. Mr. Emefiele again provided the content of the new policy measures.
In an effort to liberalize, simplify, and improve the receipt and administration of diaspora remittances into Nigeria, the CBN wishes to announce as follows. 1. Beneficiaries of diaspora remittances through IMTOs shall henceforth receive such inflows in foreign currency, in this case US dollars, through designated banks of their choice. Such recipients in Nigeria of these remittances may have the option of receiving these funds in foreign currency cash or into their domiciliary accounts. It is absolutely at the discretion of the recipient here in Nigeria as to whether he wants to collect cash over the counter at the bank or whether he wants these monies remitted directly into his domiciliary account. These changes are necessary to deepen the foreign exchange market, provide more liquidity, and create more transparency in the administration of diaspora remittances into Nigeria. In addition, these changes would help finance the future stream of investment opportunities for Nigerians in the diaspora, while also guaranteeing that recipients of remittances would receive a market-reflective exchange rate for their inflows. In the course of following up on the implementation of the aforementioned new policies, the Central Bank of Nigeria observed some pushback by some of these international money transfer operators who were hell-bent on continuing their nefarious activities of undermining our policy by attempting to resist the new policies. This was the reason the CBN had to insist yesterday, December 2nd, 2020, that all deposit money banks must close all Naira General Ledgers, GLs, in their bank through which Naira remittances were hitherto being carried out or being received. So what that also meant is that any Naira deposited by any IMTO through their APIs into deposit money banks for any recipient, I have directed that those Nairas be returned back to the IMTOs and that what should be remitted back to the recipients should be foreign currency.
International money transfer operators have since started to comply to the new policy as deposit money banks in the country are now paying diaspora remittances in dollars. During the week, we spoke with the Group Managing Director and CEO, Cowry Asset Management Limited, Mr. Johnson Chukwu, on how the amended diaspora remittances policy of the CBN will influence Nigeria's economy.
If you look at those who have to benefit from the amendment to diaspora remittances policy, virtually everybody in the country. And when I say virtually everybody in the country, I mean the household, the public sector, which is the government, and the average man on the street. And I'll tell you why it has affected every one of us is this. The level of foreign currency inflow into the country will determine the exchange rate. The exchange rate has a direct impact on the price level, the consumer price level, what we call inflation. Inflation affects everybody in the society. Every consumer, every income earner is affected by inflation. What we've seen in the recent past is that we saw a sharp depreciation of the local currency, principally because we saw a slowdown in crude oil sales proceeds. We also saw a reversal of foreign portfolio investment flow, where foreign portfolio investors were rather exiting instead of coming in. And the shortest route to mitigate those shortfalls was to encourage Nigerians in diaspora to send in more money home. And if you cast your mind back to 2019, diaspora remittances amounted to about $23.5 million. The preceding year, 2018, was about $24 million. It's only come second to the proceeds of crude oil sales in terms of foreign exchange earnings to the country. So that will show you the significance of diaspora remittances. I doubt, unless the funds are set up like the diaspora fund that is targeted at diaspora, Nigerians in diaspora, where you have a collective investment scheme that is focused on investing in infrastructure. The monies that are coming from diaspora remittances are in retail format. They are not large sum investments. You have people who are sending $10,000 here, $5,000 here, $2,000 here, maybe $100,000 will be a stretch. So they are not the kind of funds that will go into fiscal infrastructure development, other than, like I mentioned, issues of buying homes in the country. But funds can actually be set up, what we call mutual funds or equity funds, to attract Nigerians in diaspora to invest in a vehicle that will be channeled to invest in infrastructure. So that's that. But the other aspect of your question, are there other asset classes that Nigerians in diaspora can invest in? They can even go into manufacturing. There are some retail manufacturing activities, some small-scale manufacturing activities they can afford. A lot of them are professionals where they are. Some of them are practicing some trade that can be replicated here. Or some of them are, I know people who are into medical services that they want to come together. A few of them come together and set up hospitals locally. The other aspects of business, they can actually have real investment in the real sector of the economy. It doesn't necessarily be that we have to construct roads, but they could set up hospitals, they could set up a chain of supermarkets, they could set up chain of pharmaceutical shops. I've discussed with some of them who wanted to set up pharmaceutical shops. So there are several inbound this sector investment that Nigerians in diaspora can make beyond investing in real estate. Let me tell you some of the experiences of diasporas. One is that a lot of times they choose a local relation to make their investment, and the local relation in some instances will abuse the trust. So that could be a challenge, because most of the money abuse that trust, and the investment they intended to make is not made. A lot they keep away. So we need to find a process or a system, be it cultural, be it social, that will ensure that our society respect the wishes of our citizens that live outside the country. That trust deficit has been a challenge to a lot of people. I know people who sent money to relation to build houses, and they never built any house. So that's one aspect. The other thing that for me, we also recognize that a lot of Nigerians elsewhere in diaspora have been furloughed from their jobs. So you no longer have as much income as they had previous years. So the magnitude of the size of flow that we expect may not be as much as what we have seen in the recent past, principally because the income levels all over the world have gone down. Many people have lost their jobs. Some people who are working are not getting full payments. People are still dealing with the COVID-induced economic and social crisis. So that may be a drawback to, it should be a dampening to our expectation. We should moderate our expectation of what will come in. But in the long run, as the global economy stabilizes, luckily with the discovery of vaccines for COVID, we should expect that this policy will have a very salutary effect on Nigeria Foreign Reserve.
Nigeria is a rich nation of green land, rich resources, countless crops and commodities sufficient to feed and provide a means of livelihood for her teeming population. Chin up, Nigeria, the giant of Africa. Exciting times are here. We can be self-reliant and grow our economy if we work together to explore our potential. It takes a whole nation. Let us get involved. Buy Nigerian to grow Nigeria.
Welcome back. The Creative Industry Financing Initiative is a loan scheme developed by the Central Bank of Nigeria in collaboration with the Bankers Committee to improve access to long-term, low-cost financing for entrepreneurs and investors in the Nigerian creative and information technology subsectors as part of efforts to boost job creation, particularly among the youth. Many business owners have been taking advantage of the loan scheme to grow their businesses and generate employment. Here are more testimonies from SciFi beneficiaries.
It was such a good gesture for anybody, especially if you have structure. If you have a structured business, the thing with our industry is, artists, we just believe that, look, we just want to be creative, and then, and then when all these things come and they're asking, where have you been paying tax? Send us your board resolution, send us your account, audited account for 3 years, send us. Not a lot of people have that. For this this new creative industry loan, we applied through Access Bank, and we eventually got the money, and the money was actually used to actually put this place together, purchase the property, and then even though it wasn't enough, right now we're doing the second phase, and that's why you're hearing all of that. So we had to pull money together again from other sources, to actually help us get to. But at least the one that we took, through Access Bank has really helped, because we probably wouldn't have been able to even get the property in the first place. And the interest wasn't bad. Then when COVID came, I think the interest rate was prorated, and they reduced it to 5%. So it has really helped what I do, because if you're getting a loan at 8%, even though all those other charges that the banks will had, and even getting it wasn't that easy because it was a tug of war. But we got it, and we got it at the right time. We put it to use at the right time. We've started this institution that is growing already, and I can say clearly that without that fund, I don't think we would have been able to do it. So on that note, I'll really say thank you to Central Bank for such initiative. And like I said, but there's more that it can do. Instead of reducing the interest, that 1 year interest to 5%, they should just scrap it and say don't pay. So I think there is more intervention that the Central Bank can still do. We're not the only one who has benefited from this loan. I know there are quite a number of other people who have, but are they using it for what they claim they want to use it for? What is the progression? Is it being monitored? Those are the things. Are you seeing the impact? This thing is not just about giving money to help the business. This is about impacting the entire country, because like what we do, for example, if this structure is not here, we're not going to have the number of staff that we have. So meaning there won't be job provision for a lot of people. And then the content that we're going to be creating from here, I believe by this time next year, in-house, there is no way we won't have minimum of 70 to almost 100 workers, you know, because of what and that is completely different from in the film projects that we're going to be doing on the side, hiring contractors to come and work and then you know, so so Central Bank they've really done well, but I think they can do more.
Decagon is a 2-year-old company, so we haven't yet accessed the loan from the Central Bank Intervention Fund directly. So we have not received a loan from any of the banks from the SciFi Fund, even though we would like to. However, our business actually, the way we've grown from just 7 people that we were training just 2 years ago to now we have the capacity to train 250 people, house them and everything. That's powered by the existence of the SciFi Loans. So because the participants, the trainees who make it in, right, are able to, so the arrangement is we work with Sterling Bank and Access Bank. And when somebody can make it through our rigorous process, it doesn't matter whether their father has money or not, that doesn't matter. Provided they can get admission, Sterling and Access deem them as credit worthy. We've determined that provided they can make it into Decagon and receive the Decagon training, they will be able to repay their loans. And without that, we would not have been able to grow as fast as we've been able to grow. Initially, I was funding those loans myself, but there's a limit to which I would have been able to do it. So the speed at which we're growing is fueled by the existence of the software engineering, the SciFi Loans, which our trainees are able to access. We're in a space where we're able to create jobs that are dollar earning jobs. And so we consider it like something that is fiercely urgent. It's a source of hope for the whole generation, because young people that might not have a job or might not know a big uncle or a big man that can connect them to a job can see that even if they cannot get into Decagon, their friend or their cousin who did not know Chikanwobi or Herbert Wigwe or Abu Suleiman or Godwin Emefiele, but they applied and they went through a test and they passed, and they know that when they passed, they got a letter of acceptance, and they didn't have any collateral, but they received the loan, and through that they moved in here and started getting training, and after that they got a job, and now they can pay back. So that's not just the impact of that is on the person, yes. The person who gets the beneficiary, the direct beneficiary, the decadev gains a lot because his life is changed, he or she's life is changed forever.
Around 2018, I heard of Decagon and I applied and I passed through the training. After the training, I interned at Terragon. After interning at Terragon, I participated in a hackathon, Rema Bank hackathon. I lasted for like 3 months, and after then I started working at InterSwitch, and currently I work at Centricity Insights, a US startup. The cost of the training was about 3M then, and that was like really expensive for somebody like me to pay for a start or just starting life, so of course I wouldn't have that kind of money. But then they had an arrangement whereby if you don't have the money, you can just come and learn, and then when you start working, then you can start paying. So the arrangement was that they would make provisions for you to, they'll make available employment opportunities for you, and then if you get employed and then you start working, you can then start paying gradually for the loan from your income monthly. So currently I pay about a little over 100K monthly, and I really don't know how far I've gone, but I know I've been able to make some progress with the payment. With my current job, I plan that I'll increase the amount I want to pay monthly so that I can settle the loan faster.
Before now, I was in Calabar doing minimal software development. So my friend shared the Decagon interview process. So I saw it as like a good opportunity for me to like advance my career. So I applied for it. Then after 6 months, I did my internship with Decagon, and now I'm employed here in Decagon. I work with Decagon as a software engineer, full stack engineer, both the front end and the back end. And also I develop for a remote company called Vertex Software based in Texas currently. I've been working for them for like 6 to 8 months now. They've deployed 2 applications which I've worked on, and it's live. People are using it and they are happy, and it's changing life. I'm employed now. I'm receiving salary. I'm helping my family. I'm changing lives, helping friends too, right? I'm also helping the community to develop. So it's a great thing. I will just plead to CBN to continue. They should not stop. There are a lot of people like me out there that need this opportunity, and I'm privileged to be here.
Welcome back. There are several loan schemes, or as we call it, financing initiatives of the CBN that you and your business can key into. Pay a visit to your bank or any other participating financial institution to find out how. Or you can log on to the website of the Central Bank of Nigeria at www.cbn.gov.ng for further information. Reach out to its contact center on the telephone number now showing on your screen for any complaints that you may have, and forward your contributions, comments to our email address fromthecbn@gmail.com. Follow us on all our social media platforms for updates and a repeat broadcast of the program. Join us again next week. I am Misi Dada. Stay safe and bye for now.